Ooh-wee! This is a 520 horsepower with 516 pound-per-foot of torque coming out from under this unsuspecting V8 twin-turbo hood. It goes from 0 to 60 in 3.3 seconds, according to Car and Driver, with help from its special launch control feature. The Porsche Panamera gets its name from the endurance race Carrera Panamericana. That is why I've chosen this car for my guests today, Dean Roger Davis and Dr. Ray Marcrom.
Ray and I are almost in our 7th decade of relationship. I mean, that's staggering to say. I mean, we've known each other since we were about 2 years old. We went to vacation Bible school together. We went to grade school together. We went to high school together. We were roommates in pharmacy school. You know, we've been colleagues.
Feel free to share any fun stories about pharmacy school, living together. This is where you have free reign, Dr. Marcrom.
Well, I want to go on record that I don't owe Ray 13 cents still, 40 years later, from the electric bill.
We used to arm wrestle over the electric bill.
That's just not true. I paid all my debts for that red sharing department that first.
Well, Roger never could add very well. I had to do that, but he's a pretty good cook. Let me tell you, he can cook some pinto beans and cornbread.
That's right. So.
I dare say it's probably been a few years since he's done that.
It has
but
been.
He can cook, and we live pretty lean. Of course, Roger worked 40 hours a week when we were in pharmacy school. He worked all the time. I don't know when he studied, and he always kind of lays it off like he made terrible grades.
And I did. I've got the record to prove it.
He made great grades and working 40 hours a week, and he wouldn't recommend that to any student today.
Absolutely. Well, I think what we both wanted to do, regardless of who did it, was to create an environment like we were educated in. Because the value was in the relationship again. It wasn't just in the education. It was in the relationship. And I think we both would have been disappointed if now at year 10 we look back and we hadn't been able to create that atmosphere. I think we've done it. I think we've done it well.
I tell you what, I worry about our students that have to take on so much debt, but the truth is, if it's your passion and you're willing to pay the price, you know, it's a great reward. It's a huge, and you appreciate it even more. And I just, you know, I was telling somebody the other day they're worried about students coming out with $150,000, $200,000 worth of debt, and again, that concerns me. But I counsel the students. I said, if you can just live 2 more years like you have been as a student, don't get nuts. It's amazing how fast you can pay off $200,000. And it's learning how to live within your means and below your means, so that number one, your family can be stable, but also you can help others, and you don't have to be governed by the next paycheck.
Right. There's been a dirty rumor that's been spread that there's no jobs in pharmacy and that kind of thing. So how does the College of Pharmacy, as well as pharmacists themselves in the profession, get back to, you know, continuing in, I don't know, maybe the grassroots of encouraging younger folks to get into pharmacy? And
this whole thing about there are no jobs in pharmacy is just ridiculous to me. The job market is really fenced in only by your lack of imagination. If you want to provide service to patients and you have some sort of creativity, you've got the skills as a pharmacist to deliver that. And so there's no reason for people to be concerned about a bad employment market.
As Roger said, you're only as limited as your dreams, because the needs in healthcare are so large. And I think if we pursue filling those gaps, then I think success will follow. You know,
most all the pharmacists that I know got into the profession because they like people and they wanted to have a relationship. And I think Ray exemplifies that probably the best of anybody in our state. He's created a practice. People go there not because there's a pharmacy there. They go there because Ray is there to take care of them. And he does it in a unique way.
I think that's a huge thing in healthcare that gets lost. Really, our job in healthcare is to solve problems. And we can't lose focus in that. It's not filling prescriptions. It's not doing procedures. It's not filling out orders. It's ultimately is how do we solve problems and make people's lives better.
What does it take, you think, for a student who's an undergrad? What should they be thinking about is the ideal pharmacy student at Lipscomb?
Well, I think you've got to find someone who has a sense of purpose. I think they have to really see being a pharmacist as being more than a income earner. They have to see beyond the initial step. Sure, everybody wants to take care of their family. They want to provide for their family. But to find the student that has a passion, a focus, a commitment, maybe sometimes just a curiosity about what can I do to help other people. And that only comes through personal interaction again. That's why I think the interview is the most important part of the whole admission process. Now, that's not to minimize GPA and PCAT scores and things like that, but I put a lot of emphasis on looking the applicant in the eye and seeing where their passion is and what their focus is. Are they just coming here to earn a six-figure living? Or are they really coming here to really do something significant for the community, for their family, for whomever they interact with? And you can't do that on paper. It has to come through conversation.
Yeah. Our obligation, regardless of what type of star recruit they come in, whether that's a 1-star or a 5-star, our obligation is to take them to the next level and be, all Americans. And in that same sort of regard for pharmacy school, we're going to take them wherever they're coming at from, as long as they meet our goals for interviews, those sorts of things. But we're going to take them to that next level to be incredible, compassionate pharmacists. Is that?
Yeah, absolutely. Our role as faculty in the college is really to invest in our students in several different ways. But one of those ways is really to be more of a mentor and a guide. Sure, we have skills and knowledge that we want to impart to them, things that they've never thought about before, ideas that they've never had, just the transference of knowledge. But really our role is to guide them as they develop what their vision for their own practice is in pharmacy, what their vision is for their life in a holistic sort of way, how they want to serve God, how they want to serve other people. And so really it's probably better to call ourselves mentors or guides through this educational process than it is to call ourselves faculty.
I feel like our students are getting a top 10 education. I don't know if everybody else knows that yet. I know a lot of people in Tennessee do. They know that our graduates are quality. They've been through the rigor, and they also come out with an attitude that is conducive to the workplace and the patient's lives. So I feel like Roger's done an outstanding job, but we've gathered this faculty around us, and I've seen a lot of college of pharmacy faculties, but there's not a faculty out there that rivals our faculty for involvement in the students and that just that commitment to investing in young people.
We've seen some of our students not just get very good jobs, but go to the top.
Yeah.
Go to the top within a year or two of graduation, and I could name you several names of that success. And so, when you think about startling things and you look back, man, how great is that our graduates are getting choice positions that to some extent really didn't even exist 10 years ago. That's really exciting to me.
So if you owed 13 cents, does that mean he beat you in the arm wrestling contest?
Well, that night he did, yes, but it was because I'd been to the library and I came back and I was tired and exhausted.
Oh, sure.